Hello, folks. Yes, I almost got ready for the good afternoon, but hey, TikTok, Facebook, we're ready to go. About to start the No Bones About It show, folks. And so here we go. We're about to go live in the air. Thank you all. We'll get you going pretty quick, pretty soon. Yes, folks. Again, just gotta get everything going. Again, check us out. If you want to listen to the music, 917theville.com or but going to chat with me in the studio. Just stay on the TikTok, on the Facebook. We're going to get going. Here we go, folks. We're about to get ready to go, folks. Got our favorite night corn theme playing. Get ready for the best part, folks. Here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday. It is February 5th, and it's time for the No Bones About It show here on WIXQ 91.7 The Ville. Wow, wow. Yes, folks, hello. Welcome. Hope you're having a great week today. It is starting to warm up a little bit. I did see some melt out there on the old snow, folks, and yes, No Bones About It show. We are live here in the WIXQ studios. Millersville University, Millersville, PA, 175051. We're also live on the Book of Faces, the No Bones About It show on Facebook, and on the TikTok, DJ Bones 2K. All of you out there in the world listening, hey, we appreciate it. We even have somebody right now from, it looks like, Costa Rica. So thank you for joining and for listening to the show today on the Tick and the Talk. Again, folks, hey, we're in for a fun time as always, because what the No Bones About It show is. We are WIXQ, radio station out of Millersville University, PA. So what is our theme, folks? Our theme is whatever it wants to be. That's the good thing about the No Bones About It show and our station in general. You never know what you're going to hear. Woo! Yes, so I was informed that it was National Weather Person Day, folks. So we'll give a round of applause for all of you weather people out there. Yes, thank you, folks. So I have never been the nicest person to weather people, or meteorologist, I guess, is the fancy name. I tell the old joke, again, you can be wrong, it's the only position where you can be wrong 9% of the time and still get a good job. And so I am guilty of it. Yes, folks, guilty as charged. But I do understand it is a little bit harder than it should be. But I am somebody who is you should always plan for the worst. And while I think they try to give hope, I'm somebody I know. Tell me the worst thing and let me know if there's going to be a tornado tomorrow. Then when there isn't a tornado, I'll be ready. So that's just my opinion on the matter, but I know quite a few weather people out there. So big shout out, folks, to our friend Grace. Yes, Grace is a former employee of ours here at the Millersville, and I've known for a while. And she even went and chased tornadoes out in the Oklahoma. But she did graduate, and now she's moving on to bigger and better things at the University of Alabama, Huntsville, folks. Alabama, Huntsville, not just Alabama. University of Alabama, Huntsville. And so she gave us some facts. We're going to talk about weather today. And so also, what else do we have here? Yeah, we'll do that. So yes, we'll do some facts that Grace has provided us. And we're also going to talk, I'll get into groundhog in a minute. Weather facts. One of our discussion topics for later today, folks, is what TV show what canceled TV show would you bring back? So, Nick, I will talk about that. I've already seen chats in the Facebook, and so, yes, he's up next on my thing. Before we get to weather people, folks, we do have to acknowledge Groundhog's Day. So, this past Monday, we did have Groundhog's Day. In the past, we have had our annual Groundhog's Day show. But being that it's February 5th, we're a few days off of Groundhog's Day. So I didn't want to do just a strictly Groundhog's Day show. But as I was discussing with my brother today, I'm not a big fan of a groundhog, though. While we do celebrate today, and my brother does put decorations up at the house, yes, he's a big groundhog that comes up. I don't buy Phil. I'm not a big fan of Phil. I've heard many stories about Phil, that he was involved in some things in the past, and that, if you're an outsider, that he'll come get you. But let me tell you something, folks, and I think it all started with most kids my age growing up in Pennsylvania. Groundhog's Day was treated as a national holiday. We used to get the day off of school for Groundhog's Day. When we were little kids, we were always told that, we would stay up on Groundhog's Day Eve, and we would lay out carrots and vegetables. We put it out in the front porch. And in the morning, if it was gone, it means that Phil the groundhog came by the house. And my mom would sometimes leave notes. There's a little note left by Phil with little footprints saying that he had visited a house. So, yeah, we took it very seriously in our household. But again, I'm not a big fan. I'm a big fan of Gus. You've heard me say in the show before, I think the best groundhog is Gus. You know, he promotes, lottery tickets. He's all about scratching. Keep on scratching. And so that's better than Phil to me, who comes and says it's going to snow and be really cold and then leaves. Like, he just goes back to his hut. Gus is out there. He's working hard. He used to look very old school. Now they've got him CGI'd up, and he just looks too fancy. So I'm definitely a fan. But, Nick was calling it blasphemy that I didn't like. So I was really thinking about it. And so let me tell you something, folks. I'll tell you why Nick, or the Nick out of New Ken, is a big fan. As I said of Phil, we grew up in a household that celebrated Groundhog's Day. And so my brother was a big Groundhog's Day fan. And let me tell you something, folks, again, to let you know how big it is. The movie came out, I believe, in 1993 for Groundhog's Day. And there are other states that do groundhogs. Well, there were other cities that wanted to do groundhogs. And even Freeport, my hometown, in 1995, wanted to do a Groundhog's Day thing. And so we started making up a story about Gary the Groundhog. And Gary the Groundhog lived up in the Heights. He lived up in our park, up in the giant cheese block that we would play in the playground areas. So there was Gary the Groundhog, and he would haunt you on the giant cheese. And so they tried to do a celebration once with him, but he ended up attacking a little girl, and they gave him a whole lawsuit, and then he had to leave. But yes, Gary the Groundhog, he lasted 1 year in Freeport, up in the giant cheese block we used to crawl into as kids. But as I said, my brother was a big fan, and I'll tell you why, folks. It's because I remember we were like 9 years old. Was I 9 or he was 9? But my mom, she'd worked really hard because she liked doing crafts and art supply stuff. And so, we didn't always, we weren't rich, and so, we wanted to get new lunch boxes, and so my mom actually made one for my sister, and it was a groundhog lunchbox that she had named Binky. And so it was a really nice, like, little pink lunchbox with a groundhog smiling on it, and like when you opened the thing, his teeth showing up. And so my sister just kind of said, "Bah!" and walked away from it. But Nick, being the youngest, he said, that he liked it, and so from then on, he was carrying around Binky the groundhog on his lunchbox. Well, what happened was that there was this bully at our school, Kevin O'Doyle. And so Kevin O'Doyle really gave my brother a hard time about Binky. But you know what? He stood up proud and he said, "You know what? I'm carrying this Binky the groundhog pail." And he did for 3 years up until we got in junior high. But yes, I think that's why my brother is very defensive of the groundhog, because of that story. And so, like I said, back home, he puts up a giant 10-foot groundhog. We have groundhog snacks. You do a groundhog dance. Even groundhog stew. Because yes, folks, you can eat groundhogs. What do they taste like? You put them in a stew. It doesn't taste anything different from anything else. So, nice groundhog stew. But they are vicious. I did say in the summer that one went at me. It was trying to eat my dad's garden, and I had to go at him. And he stood his ground. I ran up to him. He didn't budge. I had to back down. I was not getting bit by a groundhog. So I think that leads a little bit into, why, my brother is a big fan of the groundhog, telling that story. And so, just in honor of Groundhog's Day, I will play one song right now real quick from the Groundhog Day movie. And hey, you know what? It's a song that everybody in Pennsylvania knows. And it was in the movie quite a lot. And all you polka fans out there, you'll enjoy it, because who doesn't love a nice polka? So yes, folks, here you go. The Pennsylvania Polka by V. Frankie Yankovic, also in the Groundhog Day movie, here on the No Bones Battle Show. Let's do it really quick, folks. It's only 2 minutes long, so listen to a little polka. Ba 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 bum. Vania polka. Pennsylvania polka. Again, folks, if you want to listen to the music, 917theville.com. You listen to my stories and chat me in the studio, stay up here to send me a text or message in TikTok or the Book of Faces. I am kind of far away sometimes, so you'll see me kind of scrouching in. I gotta look. But no, folks, let me know. Are you a Phil fan? I'm a Gus fan. Like I said, he keeps on scratching. I'm Polish, so I'm going to start dancing when I hear a polka song. It happens. Ba 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 ba. Oh yeah, I guess the Pittsburgh song is Da 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 da. The Pennsylvania polka again, folks. Welcome to join the show. Right now, we're listening to a little bit of Pennsylvania polka real quick because we were just talking about Groundhog's Day. But don't worry, coming back on, telling some more stories about the weather, canceled TV shows, Bigfoot, all that and more. No Bones About It show. Let me know in the chat, folks. What do you want to hear? Say hi. We'll give you a shout out. Dancing, everybody cares are quickly gone. On and on and on. It is a good song, folks. Polka music is very light. It's very nice. I like it. Yes, folks, a little bit of polka here on the No Bones About It show, a little Pennsylvania polka. As I said, my brother did just say, Phil is majestic. So, yes, folks, again, makes you understand a little bit better why my brother is so defensive of it. Again, Binky the groundhog lunch pail. Kevin O'Doyle, who was a jerk and a bully to my brother. And Gary the groundhog, who lived in the giant cheese block up in Freeport Park until he attacked a little girl. It wasn't bad. I believe that she may have had to, have her foot amputated. I don't remember off the top of my head. But Gary wasn't playing around, so that's why they get rid of Gary. But yes, again, that's why he's very defensive. But if you see my brother, yes, I know it is a few days late, but tell him Happy Groundhog Day. He will appreciate it because he is a Groundhog fan. And he goes every year just to try to shake hands with Phil. And I can appreciate it. I mean, not like Phil. Like I said, if I had a chance to meet Gus, a chance, yeah. Oh my God, now I'm blanking on groundhogs. There's so many groundhogs now, folks. Yeah, if I had a chance to meet a groundhog, hey. What can I say? But, as I said, it's National Weather Person Day. And that's what got me started thinking about this, is that, as a kid, I didn't really think too much about the weather, meteorologist. But I will say, growing up in the 90s, even being a kid and not watching the news, well, let me scratch it. The only time you watched the news was in the morning, if during a winter, and you would know if your school was going to be canceled or delayed. Which, let me tell you something, folks. There was no better feeling than having school canceled. You were ready to, flip out, destroy a building. It was so great. But there was one person that we went to when it came to getting our weather sources. And this person knew it, and they would tell us. And their name, folks, was Joe DiNardo. And let me tell you something about Joe DiNardo. He'll tell you a lot of things. But let's say, hey, Pittsburgh, what does Joe say? We're playing a theme. Said it would. Joe said it would, folks. Yes, he did. Joe DiNardo said it would. Let me tell you something about Joe DiNardo. Okay. One cool thing that he used to do, and it was in the 90s, the 90s was a special time, is that on Wednesdays, I don't know if he had Wednesdays off, but on Wednesdays, he would visit a different school, and he would do an assembly, meet kids, and he would take his helicopter there. And so, he didn't come to Freeport, because Freeport is a little town. He wanted to come to our town. But he did go to South Buffalo, because they have area for him to land and helicopter. And so, he went out there. All the kids went out there. We made T-shirts. I wish I would have saved my Joe DiNardo T-shirt. And so, as I said, my brother, he actually, he got to touch hands with him, and he was so happy. Like I said, he got to touch Joe DiNardo, so he was very happy. But yeah, Joe DiNardo, that's what I went to. When I picture a weather person, I always picture an older person, just sitting you down, telling you straight, smoking a cigar, having a glass of brandy, sitting there saying, hey, it's going to snow tomorrow, so get your shoes ready. And I can appreciate that. Like I said, that to me, there was nothing fancy about it. He'd get on the screen, tell you what was going on. I don't know. It was a different time maybe, and I always appreciated that. So, yeah, Joe DiNardo. But Nick, I know you said you met Joe DiNardo. Many of us met Joe DiNardo, as I said, because he went to the school, and so we were very happy. And like I said, that was my first image of a weather person. But since those days, weather people have. That's true. So it is true. That's how Joe knew. So Joe basically would tell the weather, "Hey, this is what you're going to be like today." So if it was one of those like we're not sure if it's going to rain or not, Joe DiNardo would say, "Yo, weather, it's going to rain tomorrow." It would rain tomorrow. And he said, "Hey, we're going to have a high of 70. We're going to high of 70." So yes, Joe DiNardo did have a agreement with the weather that if he said it, it would happen because his approval rating was like 99%. He wasn't going to lose that approval rating. I think Joe did pass away. I know he lived to be, I think, like 80 something. It's funny because I thought he was like already. I thought he was in his 70s, but I believe that when we saw him, he was around 65. But again, when you're a kid, everybody looks older. I thought he was already in his 80s, almost 90, but he was 65 when he came to South Buffalo Elementary. Buffalo Elementary, which is where all the Freeport kids go now. It's so weird to think that, again, folks, my elementary school is now a Dollar General. Yes, they turned my elementary school into a Dollar General. Where I used to sit at for years and laugh and play, there's now a section on water coolers and chips and discount pops. So, yes, it's just very weird to think. If Joe DiNardo would have came to Freeport, we would have stayed Freeport. But he went to South Buffalo, so that's where he went. Let's see. Joe said it would. Joe! As I said, we're going to talk some weather facts. I got some weather facts from our good friend Grace, and so I'm going to go over some stuff that she shared with me. I'll probably wait till maybe 3 to start talking canceled TV shows. I want your opinion, folks. If you had the magic wand, you could bring back one canceled TV show, what would it be? We'll do a briefing of the Super Bowl, because I really don't care about the Super Bowl this year. Yes, we will do a quick also thing, the Royal Rumble. It was this weekend, and it's a Royal and it's a Rumble. It's a Royal Rumble. Just like it's a pillow, it's a pet, it's a pillow pet. So yeah. So we'll do that. So right now, we're going to go, what we'll do, folks, is we'll go to commercial right now really quick. Because upcoming the song, we're going to play, yes, folks, Megadeth, after 40 years, have released their own version of Ride the Lightning. So let's do a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with Megadeth's version of Ride the Lightning here on the No Bones Battle Show, folks. Listening live, WIXQ 917theville.com. Woo, folks! It's a good day today. Hope you're all having fun, enjoying. The Snapper! The Snapper! The Snapper, folks. I love the Snapper. Joe said it would. Yes, folks, sometimes I do jump on the Book of Faces whenever I'm doing things. Gotta watch all my videos going. WIXQ, folks. Up next, folks, it is Megadeth. Megadeth, Ride the Lightning. Yeah. Oh. Here we go, folks. Yes, I said Megadeth, Ride the Lightning. Yes, folks. Hey, Dave Mustaine, he said for years he wrote Ride the Lightning. Well, here's his version of Ride the Lightning here on the No Bones Battle Show, folks. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Sorry about that, folks. Matt speaking. Uh-huh. Yeah. Did you call? Did you call Phil? Because during the day, or like, there's a call we already. But that did you try the door handle lock, which I'm betting that's what it is. I bet you it's a door handle lock. So people somehow lock the door handles, as in there's no key. It's just a little slit. You use a penny, a screwdriver, anything that fits in there, and just turn it, and it will unlock it. If, yeah, if it doesn't, let Philip know, just because he's still there. But actually, based on what you're telling me, I'm gonna guess that's what it is. Okay. Yes, thank you for letting me know. Bye. Sorry about that, folks. Someone's gonna get work calls. That's why we have music playing. My brain, I can feel the pain. Do 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 do. I don't want to die, folks. Do 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 do. Oh, I didn't put the song in. Do 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 do. It's a good song. Ride the Lightning, folks. Megadeth. Hey, we're having a good time today. Like I said, listen to the music at 917theville.com. Because you can't hear it. Well, I have my headphones here, so I can hear it. You cannot. If not, like I said, hey, just stay in the chat. Put me a message. Like I said, I am reading all of it. Again, I have like 3 different stations set up. So sometimes you'll see me looking, and I can see things, but I gotta get close to read. So I'm not able to do it on TikTok because the words are so small on the bottom here. I don't know how you all do it. Probably hook it up. They probably screen thing. What's it called? Screencast. I need to do that. There's a big hole in my hat. So that's sad, folks. There's a hole in my nice hat. I knew my head was cold the other day. I wonder what I did to get a hole in my hat. There's nothing worse than getting a hole in your hat, folks. That's a nice hat, too. It's ridge cut. It's nice. Thick. I wish I could listen to this Ride the Lightning with Dave's old voice. Now that Dave's old and he's had the throat cancer, I wish he would be in his prime playing the song. It's a very good song. Again, Ride the Lightning, Megadeth, but originally by Metallica. I don't want to die, folks. Do 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 do. Well, yeah, hole in socks is. Oh yeah, you got to throw a sock away once a hole's in it. That's absolutely true. The hat's not terrible, but like I barely, I have like 12 hats. I didn't even know there was a hole in there. I stuck my finger in there. Yeah, hole in the sock is worse because it just bothers you forever. And the socks are just not as strong as they used to be. Do 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 do. Someone's asking, does Nick still have his Binky the Groundhog lunchbox? No, he does not, folks. I know that because when he moved to his house, I didn't see it. So no. Who knows where it is now? It could be some other kid's little Binky the Groundhog lunchbox. So I don't know where it is. But thank you for asking. Do, 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 do. Song's almost over. Here we go. Yes, folks, that was Megadeth's version of Ride the Lightning here on the No Bones Battle Show. Yes, I like it a lot. I just wish that it had like 1990 Prime Dave. Because honestly, music-wise, I think I may like it more than I like actually Metallica's version. But I do say that while Metallica had all those great hits, I do think that Megadeth is better. I do, folks. I'll say it. Metallica, 80s Metallica beats basically anything Megadeth did. But Metallica, to me, really after Black Album, didn't do anything. And so from that point on, Megadeth really took over. And I still will listen to Megadeth. I haven't listened to Metallica. Any of their new stuff, I mean, like I said, St. Anger I didn't like. But I'll listen to Megadeth. Just something while he plays guitar. It has a certain tone that I really like about it. Let's see. Nick did say, I said I found a hole in my hat, folks. I'm very sad. I showed up camera. There's a hole in my hat. I'll stick my finger in the hole. You can see. Woo! I don't know how it got there, but a hole in a sock is worse. Yes, folks. Once you get a hole in your sock, you can't wear it anymore. And I'm a sock person. Like, I don't like my bare feet just touching things. But maybe because, I don't know, I feel like it's either I'm rough on socks or because I wear very cheap shoes, they tear very easily. But once you get a hole in the heel, it's done. It's done. But if you get a hole at the other end by your toes and like your toe sticks out, well, that's the sound you make, folks. So, as I did say, though, I do want to get in some weather facts. We'll talk some weather. So our friend Grace down at the University of Alabama, Huntsville, she gave me some, I said, give me some facts, that I could share. One of them, though, is very interesting because I didn't know about this fact until about a week ago, and she just confirmed it to me. So, basically, she said that raindrops are actually shaped like hamburger buns when they fall. So, I didn't know that, but, folks, there was a flood the other day, and it turned out the flood was caused by the rain. Now, specifically, the way that the system was set up to deal with the rain, they had it set up so that when the water entered, it was contained a certain way. But because the raindrops weren't shaped like they thought, they were shaped more like hamburger buns, they went through the system or weren't being caught, and so it ended up flooding the area. So there you go, folks. I did not know about the raindrop thing until last week, and then Grace confirmed it, but yes, raindrops are shaped like hamburger buns. So basically, if you eat or you open your mouth and get some rain in there, you're eating a hamburger bun, which I can get with that. So so here's another one. Lightning is 5 times hotter than the sun and rapidly expands the air around it when strikes. That's why you hear thunder. See, that does make sense. I do know that lightning and thunder go together. I didn't know it was 5 times. Really 5 times hotter than the sun? I don't know. That's my thing is we don't know how hot the sun is. I'm a science guy. I just don't buy that we don't know, folks, because if you send something to the sun, it's going to burn. It's going to melt. How do we know how hot the sun is? We can't go in the sun. We can't explore the sun. We can observe the sun from very far away, and we can make measurements based on what we believe. But we don't know how hot the sun is. The sun is so hot that we feel it on Earth. A bolt of lightning strike does not heat up the rest of all of space. I guess maybe if you keep it down to just that one contained area, it's maybe hotter. But overall, no, it ain't hotter. I don't know, Grace. I don't know about that 5 times hotter. I know dentine ice is cooler than ice, but I'm not sure about the lightning. So, let's see here. But yeah, let's talk some more weather, folks, because I like the weather. I'm a weather, as you get older, as they say, you become a weather person. But something I always wanted to know was really more about clouds. Now, I know you learn about that stuff in school, but I didn't really think about clouds. You see them. You watch them move. You sometimes think that they're following you. That you can eat a cloud, but that's not always the case. And so, as I said, our show isn't just about, fun. I mean, our show isn't just about education. It's about fun as well. So, let's talk about clouds. So, yes, folks, clouds are visible accumulations of minute water droplets or ice crystals suspended in the Earth's atmosphere, forming when water vapor condenses around dust, salt, or smoke particles. They are categorized by altitude and appearance and play a key role in weather regulation and precipitation. So that's just a basic understanding of clouds. And let's go into some more information about clouds here, folks. So how clouds form, as I said, through condensation. Warm, moist air rises, cools, and condenses into water droplets, and through saturation. When air cannot hold more water vapor, it becomes saturated, reaching its dew point. Now, the only dew point I like is Mountain Dew, folks, because Duvadoo Mountain Dew. And then there's something that's called condensation nuclei. So water vapor requires tiny airborne particles like dust or sea salt to cling to, enabling the formation of droplets. So there you go. So that's actually interesting. So clouds contains, dirt, sand. I guess I didn't really think about that. So I guess I really don't want to eat a cloud then, because if it's going to taste like that, that doesn't sound very good to me. So yeah, I guess we won't do that. That's interesting. I did not know about that. So basically, so is a cloud like cotton candy? I guess that's my next question. Because when you think cotton candy, I just bought a cotton candy machine, folks. So you're gonna hear me talk about cotton candy a lot. I just got a cotton candy machine, and all cotton is sugar. You put sugar in this thing, and it stretches it. It's basically stretched sugar. So basically, is a cloud just stretched water droplets, across sand, dirt, debris? Because when I was young, we were taught in school that you could eat clouds. That's where cotton candy came from. Basically, I was taught when I was young in our school that when a cloud fell to the sky, that's what you got cotton candy from. But they would dye it different colors, pink or blue. And then, I wanted to go up in the air one day and taste one. But when you're in I guess when you're in a helicopter you can do it, but when you're in a plane you can't do it. I've never rode in a helicopter. So one day, when I get in a helicopter, I am going to taste a cloud. It's going to taste bad, based on what I'm reading here. But I still want to do it because, I don't know. It's kind of like tasting the rainbow. I want to taste the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. Let's do this, folks. Before we get some more weather facts, I do want to play music. Because like I said, I get so distracted sometimes from playing music. But it is a radio show. We like music. We love radio. Radio? I've got a radio in my car. So let's do some music, folks. How about some Foo Fighters? It's February. Why not listen to February Stars? So here you go, folks. It is Foo Fighters, February Stars, here on the No Bones About Show, folks. Keep on listening. Keep on supporting WIX. Don't forget that Q, 91.7 FM, Radical Renowned, and Real College Radio. Oh, folks. Let's see what we get there. Let's see here, folks. Someone called me and trying to see who it was. Yeah, no. We got February Stars. Oh, the cover fell off my microphone, folks. If you saw it fall, that's what it was. Microphones look weird about the little covers on them. It's like little hats. Little toupees. Good song, folks. February Stars. Very quiet song. Nice song. Just hanging on. Alright, folks. Do you have any questions? Or, hey, you want to say hello in the chat? Just put a message up for me. Right now, when I'm not talking, I can respond. I know somebody was calling the phone. Can't answer phone, folks, when I'm talking. I can't go live. I got to review calls. I can tell your message, but that's it. That's all I can do. It's going to get a hole in my hat. It's very upsetting. Woo! Very nice quiet song. I like it. Who texted me? Yeah. February stars, folks. February stars, folks. What's that, folks? Yes, folks, February stars here on the No Bones Bass Show. And yes, my AccuWeather person, Grace, is here chatting to me, letting me know that she said very good description of clouds, proud of the condensation nuclei mentioned. So thank you, thank you. She did say though that yes, I do know they can know how hot the sun is based on radiation wavelength, which basically temperature equals 2,897 divided by radiation wavelength, also known as Wien's displacement law. Well, you know what? I still called because again, yes, folks, I spent many years in science. I was going to be a doctor or I was going to work in genetics. So I took many years of bio and chemistry, but I still call somewhat. I don't know. It's just kind of like I said for years that I still believe that if I'm, 60 miles an hour, I believe that if I got in a car and someone started a timer right at, right when I hit 60 miles an hour, I would go more than a mile in 60 miles. I mean, go 6 miles per hour. I don't know. I still don't doubt it. But as I said, I'll have some myths and more facts from Grace Bush. She did tell me that there are two things she's working on, which is, yes, while we haven't created a Sharknado yet, it could happen. And I did bring up the fact that I still believe that we can modify and create tornadoes that can pick up like snowstorms and take them somewhere else so that we don't have to deal with them. Now, Grace can't tell me that's accurate or not because, she's working in a secret lab, but at least she'll let me know what the actual numbers and facts are. So thank you, Grace. So keep me up. So when I keep saying stuff, let me know in the chat so I can share with everybody. But it's 2:39. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more here, folks, on the No Bones Bass Show, live in the WIXQ studios here in Millersville University. Uh-oh, Moose Ultimate coming up. Moose Ultimate, folks. I do wonder if I was becoming a DJ. Yeah, folks, if you want to write for WIXQ, let us know. Hey, we're always looking for underwriters. We're always looking for new people to join our crew here in the WIXQ studios because Millersville University of Pennsylvania, 17551, you can do any theme show you want. I mean, my show's about nothing. I do random themes. Yes, folks, we're back here in the No Bones About It show here on WIXQ, because, yes, that's how we say it back home, WIXQ. Let's do some quick facts and some myths about weather. Things that I thought were true that are no longer true, so it's very sad, folks, because I thought they were true, but they're not. Let's see here. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. As we were told, that doesn't happen. But, folks, it actually often does. And I didn't really think about it, but I mean, they build lightning, rods on top of buildings, and they get struck all the time. So I guess I never really thought about that. But I guess maybe they don't. Maybe they mean they don't strike the same place within 10 millimeters of an inch. I guess if you're saying within fractions of inches, maybe, but the same general area, yes. I don't know though. I don't know, Grace. I don't know. Just let me know on that one. Let's see here. Oh, that's a weird one. Heat lightning. Yeah, I always heard about heat lightning growing up. It'd be a nice summer, and you would see lightning. You would see lightning like a cloud light up, but you didn't hear any thunder. And my mom was like, "Oh, that's heat lightning," which I didn't really know what heat lightning was. I thought it was like a heat wave, or it was a lightning that helped heat up the world, but it wasn't lightning. But heat lightning is not a type of lightning. Basically, it's just distant lightning from a storm that's too far away to hear thunder. I mean, it does make sense. I do like the idea that it's just as new lightning heats up the world, but okay, we'll go with it, like I said, if I have to. Okay, this one I really thought was true, actually. So, open windows equalize pressure during a tornado. So they said open a window. That is actually false, folks, because it's actually dangerous, exposes you to flying debris. I don't know, though, because I never open the windows in my car because I don't want to waste gas. But if I do open the window a little bit, I feel like all the pressure comes in one ear and messes up my other ear. But if I open the other window a little bit too, it kind of equals out. But you are correct. Tornadoes do throw things around, so you don't want anything. But a window usually isn't probably going to. So it is lightning. Well, no, I mean, it's not its own separate form of lightning, Nick. Okay, so yes, heat lightning is lightning. But growing up, they made it seem like it was its own category of lightning and not just distant lightning. So, lightning and thunder, there you go. But yes, it is technically lightning. It's just not its own different form of lightning. It's lightning. But no, yeah, the open window one, I really thought that was true. I don't know. That one I still feel like can happen just because my ears pop a lot. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. What else we got? Yeah, that was okay. No, whoever said that one. This one I did know. I think I knew it from the movie that tornadoes can't cross rivers or lakes. In fact, they can and do. But I do believe they do cross rivers and lakes. They probably lose power, though. So that I think is what more people were thinking about, was that, if a tornado hits water, it's going to lose some power, which it has to. Because all the energy it uses to suck up all that water, it definitely, an F5 can't stay in F5 if it's going through water. I would find that hard to believe. Now, I don't know how many actually confirmed F5 tornadoes have been in this world. None in Pennsylvania, but, if you watch the movie Twister, they had a water tornado, and it was still powerful, but was it as powerful as just a tornado on the land? It was not. And so that, I believe, is what people meant when they said it can't cross water. Again, but it's kind of weird. One little thing can change a tornado. A tornado can annihilate a house and then skip the next house. It's very weird how tornadoes work. Like I said, if we could harness the power of a tornado, it would be amazing. We could do anything, folks. Imagine if we could collect wind power from a tornado. We'd be flying up in the sky. Who knows where I'd be. I'd be flying to the moon, eating moon cheese. But that's just me. So, let's do this. Let's keep talking about clouds. Because, again, as I talked about, the clouds always kind of fascinated me. And there are different types of clouds, folks. And I don't even know the different types of clouds until now. They taught us this back when we were kids, but I didn't listen. So, basically, there are different types of clouds based, I think, on, where they're located at. Here, so this is what it is. So, we'll do some key facts about clouds first. So key facts: clouds, white clouds appear so because they reflect sunlight. Thicker, darker clouds are filled with dense water droplets. Okay, that makes sense. This one, I thought clouds were nice, light, and fluffy, but how they hold rain? Well, here you go, folks. Despite appearing light, an average, I can't say cloud names very well. Communability. Oh my God. Cumulonimbus cloud can weigh around 400,000 kilograms. That's a lot. I can't say the word, folks. Don't ask me to say it again. Altitude. Cloud types are often defined by height, which we'll talk about. Lifetime. That's a good thing, actually. So clouds may last only 10 to 15 minutes, depending on humidity and atmospheric conditions. That's weird to think. So, like, clouds have a very short life. It's kind of like a little lightning bug or fruit fly or a mayfly. Basically, it's alive, causes damage, and leaves. So that tells you, folks, that means you've never seen the same cloud twice. It's kind of scary. What else, like, short lifespan for clouds? Like, hey, I'm going to be around for like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to cause a lot of havoc and then leave. I can respect it, though, at the same time. Clouds do their business. They then move on to bigger and better things. And then green clouds. Yes, folks, green clouds. Green-tinted clouds are often associated with severe thunderstorms, hail, and tornadoes. I've never seen a green cloud. I've seen red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. I don't know if I've heard of. I don't think I've ever seen a green. Have I seen a green cloud? I don't know. I may have in somewhere in my lifetime. I've seen a green cloud. Nick, have you seen a green cloud? Nick, I can't say that word. I am not going that word again. My mouth can't handle it. Cannot handle it. That's a hard word. So here you go, folks. Let's talk about some clouds. Let's start with our some low-level clouds. So these are clouds that are below 6,500 feet. You've got your stratus clouds. They are gray, uniform, featureless layers like fog that doesn't reach the ground, often bringing drizzle. And that brings up a word, folks. Just fog. A fog is a cloud that makes contact with the ground. So that's all it is. Fog is just a cloud that makes contact to the ground. Say that. A fog is a cloud that makes contact to the ground. Fog is a cloud that makes contact to the ground. Fog is a cloud that makes contact to the ground. That's like a new tongue twister. But I didn't know that. So fog is a cloud that makes contact to the ground. But what then is a mist? That's a good question. But okay, so low-level cloud, stratus. We also have our stratocumulus. I can't say that word. The CMU. Cumulus, I am not good at that. Cumulative, I'm not good at that. So, stratocumulus, or SC, are low, lumpy layers or patches, often with dark, rounded masses or rolls. And then we have our cumulus, which are CU clouds. They are detached, puffy, cotton-like clouds with flat bases, usually fair weather clouds. Again, okay, that makes sense. So then we got our mid-level clouds. Are about 6,500 to 20,000 feet. We have our altostratus. So those are gray or bluish sheets that partially cover the sky, making the sun appear watery. And then we have our altocumulus, which are white or gray patches or layers of rounded masses, rolls, or ripples. Then we move on to our high-level clouds. We have our cirrus, or CI. These are above 20,000 feet. Thin, wispy, feathery clouds made of ice crystals, often indicating fair weather. And then we have our cirrostratus, which are thin, sheet-like, transparent layers that can create halos around the sun or moon. And then we have our cirrocumulus, which are small, white, patchy clouds and ripples or grains, sometimes called a mackerel sky. Now, see, here's my thing. I can understand descriptions, but from a human eye, I can't tell how high a cloud... I can't tell the distance. I don't know... If I look up in the sky and see a plane, I can't tell you the distance of it. Now, I'm bad at judging distance. I'm bad at, depth perception. So maybe does a normal person can, tell you, oh, that cloud's 20,000 feet. There's no way you can tell. Grace, you're a weather person. Tell me, how do you tell? Can you tell, or is it are we just making things up? Because I'm good at either or. I like making things up. But let's do some music. Nick, I got a nice Madden song for you. Yes, folks, going off of my favorite... Well, I think I have it. I didn't have it loaded. Give me 1 second here. But yes, folks, I've said before, but my favorite Madden was Madden 2003, folks. Yes. Madden 2003. It was a great year. my going into my senior year of high school, and one of the songs in the soundtrack was by the band Epidemic. And so here you go, folks, from the Madden 2003 CD soundtrack, Epidemic Walk Away, here on the No Bones About It show. Man, I can't say those cloud words. Those cloud words are tough. Okay, there we go, folks. Again, song is Walk Away by Epidemic. Yeah, I can't say a cloud. Ugh. Cumulus. Cumulative. Kind of like cumulative GPA. Cumulative. I can't. That's a tough word for me to say, folks. I never thought I'd have that trouble. You know, SH I always had a hard time, or TH, like thick, I had a hard time saying back when I was a kid. That was hard. But we are playing Epidemic Walk Away right now. Hard word to say. I'm still like shocked how hard that word was to say. Oh! Yeah, I forgot about that song too, Nick. But it's a good. As soon as I heard it, I knew it. Yeah, this part especially, when I hear this part. Wow, wow, wow. Nick, have you even played the PlayStation yet? I know you said you moved it upstairs. But have you played it yet? I walk away. Yes, folks, the song is Walk Away by Epidemic here on the No Bones Battle Show, folks. I don't know any other songs by this band. I just know that they had a really good song that was in the Madden video game. So, yes, Madden 2003, the song is Epidemic Walk Away here on No Bones Battle Show, folks. And again, thank you all for joining me, be on WIXQ radio station or on the TikTok or on the Book of Faces. Hey, we appreciate it. Again, we were talking weather today and figured out I can't say certain cloud words. We told a story of why my brother loves groundhogs so much because, again, as a kid, we grew up celebrating Groundhog's Eve, and because of Nick's groundhog lunchbox when we were kids, but that darn Kevin O'Doyle was bullying him. And I just remember he would always come up to Nick and go, Doyle rules! Oh, Doyle rules! Oh, Doyle rules! And I'm like, who is this kid? Why does he keep saying that? But he did. Did I think he'd rule? He did not, folks. He did not rule. Kevin O'Doyle did not rule. Some common misconceptions about clouds. Clouds, they say clouds are floating. So, while they appear to float, they are not. Basically, they are suspended because of upward motion, and the tiny cloud particles actually have a very slow fall velocity, as detailed. So there you go. So clouds are falling just at a very slow rate, sort of like a slow-moving, very slow. That's good to know, though. So clouds are always falling. As I said, clouds are not light. There's an old thing saying that black clouds are poisonous. Thick clouds can look like black smoke because they absorb sunlight, not because they are harmful or toxic. That is good to know. But there is such things as toxic rain or acid rain. So I mean, I don't know if a cloud is acid rain, does it drop in like dark clouds? I don't know. I do not know, folks. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I did ask, Grace, how you can tell the height of a cloud, and she said they send balloons in the air to tell. So there you go, folks. So I'm not the only one who can't tell by eyesight. So you just can't look up in the sky and say, man, that cloud is 6,000 feet. Okay, I'm good to know, because like I said, I've been struggling for years to figure out, am I the only person who can't tell the height of the cloud? So that's good. So there you go. So you can't do that. Let's see, what else we got? I already said clouds are not light. As I said, old misconception that clouds are made of gas and water vapor. In reality, a cloud is a visible collection of tiny liquid water droplets and or ice particles in the atmosphere. Grace, here's a question though I'm going to ask you because I don't know the answer to this one. It comes in with snowstorms, so how can a cloud can only hold so much, I'm assuming. So how can a cloud, be dropping snow in Ohio and travel 200 miles, let's say 200 miles, that same cloud, and drop the same snow in Pittsburgh? Like, how can it just keep dropping? Like, does the cloud absorb water and create snow at the same rate, but it's dispersing it? That just seems wild to me that, this storm in Ohio is dropping snow right now, and it's 500 miles away from Pittsburgh, but yet it's going to hit Pittsburgh and drop snow. Like, how does it do that? Grace, that's a good question I have for you as a meteorologist to be, is how? How does it do that? How does, does a cloud really hold that much? Because again, couldn't we just theoretically just heat up the cloud and just have it drop everything at one time? It'd probably be disastrous, but I still like the idea of doing that. So, Grace, you tell me. Because, I don't know, it just seems very odd to me. I always wondered that question. It keeps growing as it's moving. There you go. So, that's why, folks. So, as the cloud is dropping snow, it is also gaining from the movement. So, it is. So, basically, gains at the same rate it's leaving. Okay, that I guess makes more sense then. Because I always wondered at how a giant, storm formation can just keep dropping snow and never lose it. I mean, that just always was very wild to me. So, there you go. Again, folks, hey, that is our AccuWeather person here, Grace. And so, yep, as it moves, it accumulates the moisture from the place it's going. That makes sense. And so, hey, if you have any questions, folks, hit up Grace, University of Alabama, Huntsville. She's going to be a storm chaser. She's going to catch a tornado. Because when she went out there, I did ask her to catch me a tornado, but she did not get the chance to. But one day, I will catch a tornado, and I'll have it, and I'll keep it in a jar in my office next to all my other stuff. It is 2:58. Let's take our top of the hour commercial break. And then we'll be back with more music here on the No Bones Bad Show, folks. So keep on listening. Keep on supporting WIX. Don't forget that Q, 91.7 FM, Radical Renowned and Real College Radio. Real College Radio, folks. Just like the Wild Ranger. We don't have. WIXQ. We are WIXQ, folks. Yes, folks, I'm back here on the No Bones About Show. Thanks, Elmo, for kind of leading me in there. I'll tell you right now, I kind of like having, Grace there, as my AccuWeather person, my fact person. So, Grace, I don't know, you may have a gig now as our go-to whenever I'm on the radio in case anybody has any weather questions. Because it's been good for you to have someone actually answer my questions as I think about them in my head. So, we need to keep this going, folks. We're getting some good positive responses. Like I said, I need to practice saying my clouds because, whoo, I can't say cloud. That was tough. But let's do a song because whenever we're back, hey, we gotta get some nice music going. And as I said, hey, you know what? I struggled saying that cloud, but that's just me being me, and I'm all about being myself. And you should always be yourself. And you know who else says that? Audio Slave. So here you go, folks. A little bit of Audio Slave. Be yourself here on the No Bones About Show, folks. Again, keep on listening, keep on supporting WIX. Don't forget that Q. Be yourself, folks. It's a good song, folks. Be yourself. Just be yourself. It's all you can be. Or emulous. Ah. Huma. Or emulous. She sent me the words, folks, so I'm trying to actually sound it out. Cumulo. Cumulo. Oh. Cumulus. Oh. Okay. Cumulus. Oh. Cumulus. Okay. A little better. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate that. Thank you, Grace. That helps. That helps, folks. See, there you go. Just sound. She sent me the little phonetic thing. So cumulus. Cumulus. Actually, okay. Cumulus. Okay. Cumulus. We'll say it a few times like that. Okay. I'll say it back when we're live on the air so that I know it. Folks, I was smart at one time, okay? Don't go off of my mispronunciations of clouds. I actually have a really good memory, but I can't speak to save my head today. I don't know what is going on. Those clouds are tough to say. Cumulus. 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 Okay. I feel better now. I'm saying it correctly. Cumulus. 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 See, that's that's a good thing about being live in the air, folks. We practice things out loud. We learn together. Yes, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. That's a hard word. I don't know why. It's just something about that Q sound. But I feel better now. Cumulus. Oh, my video. There we go. I had to add a little click, but I'm still filming there. Cumulus. Cumulus. There you go. Clouds. Cumulus clouds. I never really thought about clouds, like I said, so now I feel a little bit better. So, hey, thank you. Who's it? Andrew, thank you. I appreciate it as well. Thank you. Again, I guess I've never had to say the word before. I knew that there's different types of clouds. I just never had to say the type of cloud before. I never really paid that much attention to it. Like I said, you see a cloud. I don't know. Yes. Oh, folks, it is after 3, too. We have a few more weather things with some weather facts we'll go over before we move on to our next topic. Don't worry, Andrew. When I'm back on the air, I'll give you a shout out for helping me out there. Let's see. Because be yourself, folks. That is all you can be, really. That's all I always. That's all I ask of my people, my friends. Is just be yourself. Hey, if people don't like it, be yourself. I respect somebody who's himself rather than someone that just fall into the crowd. I'm not someone who falls into the crowd. Yes, folks, be yourself, as Audio Slave says here on No Bones Battle Show. And I forgot to give one shout out, yes, to Mr. Zachary Gent, our former mayor of Freeport. He was in for a visit last night. He was in the Lancaster area, so we had a good 3-hour chat. So, Zach, hey, thank you for chatting with me. We will have Zach in the air, folks, because I want to hear more about his experience as the former mayor of Freeport, Pennsylvania. His bodyguard did come. His bodyguard was a nice guy, so it was good to meet him. But yes, former mayor of Freeport. And thank you to Grace and Andrew on the TikTok for helping me spell out in the word. So Grace did send me the phonetic of the word, and so, it made it very easy for me. So cumulus. And Andrew said, so cumulus. Okay, I actually sound a lot better. Cumulus. I'm going to say it about 10 more times. Cumulus. There you go. So thank you, Grace. Thank you, Andrew, for that. We do a few more little weather facts. Some of these, I think you should know, because they're pretty simple, I think, at this point. But it says about 2,000 thunderstorms rain down on Earth every minute. See, I don't know about that one, because I feel like if you look at your radar, there's definitely, I don't know, when I look at my radar, I don't always see somewhere where there's raining in the world. But I'm guessing it means there has to be somewhere raining in the world. But you ever look at like a big map of a radar? I feel like there's some days where I look at it and there's no clouds. It shows like on the radar anywhere, not just in the U.S. or North America, but in South America. So that one I'm questioning. This one is very freaky. I feel like wildfires sometimes create tornadoes made of fire called fire whirls. That, to me, is like the worst-case scenario. Tornadoes themselves are scary, but a fire tornado, that's almost as bad as a sharknado. So, I don't know which is worse, a fire tornado or a sharknado. I mean, the fire tornado is probably worse, because that's one thing I do not want to get burned. So, that, I would agree. But, do I also want to be eaten by a shark? Like I said, I don't know. That one freaks me out a little bit. Thankfully, I've never had to be next to a wildfire. My Uncle Randy, he lives in California. Uncle Randy, he deals with a lot of wildfires. This one I did not know about, but you know what? It's funny because I remember watching movies, especially there's this good. I like this movie, and you all tell me in 1995, Dante's Peak. I like that movie a lot. For some reason, in the 90s, there was world disasters were a big thing, but like they came out in twos, and so everybody knows the movie Armageddon. But right before Armageddon was the movie Deep Impact, both about asteroids hitting the world. Well, in 1995, 1996, you had Dante's Peak, which is about a volcano erupting in Washington. Then you had Volcano, which is about a volcano that came out from underground and erupted in the middle of Los Angeles. But I did notice in Dante's Peak, lightning, it does say here, lightning often follows a volcanic eruption. So why is that, Grace? Why does lightning follow a volcanic eruption? I could see there being clouds. Is it because of the excess heat being up? That would make sense, I guess. With all that heat being expelled into the atmosphere, I guess that could create lightning. So, yes, I guess that does make sense. But I guess I never thought, again, I don't live anywhere by a volcano. I live in Pennsylvania. Unless something just pops up in the middle of Pennsylvania, I'm not probably going to see a volcano anytime soon. But it does make sense. Let's see. A 2003 heat wave turned grapes to raisins before they were picked from the vine. That's actually kind of, I guess if it was like a raisin place, that would actually save a lot of work. You don't have to have your people out there like trying to grow the raisins. The fact that it just turned the raisins, turned the grapes into raisins, I feel like that actually could be a good thing. So, this is a weird, I don't know how this is a fact. Mild autumn weather often means bigger spiders in our homes. See, I don't really get the point of it. I would figure bigger spiders would come in if it was worse weather. So mild autumn weather often means bigger spiders in our homes. And see that one, how do you measure that? I guess that's a question I have. How do you, mild autumn weather often means bigger spiders in our homes. I don't know if that's a weather question, but maybe. So yes, Grace did answer that question. So, all particles from the volcanic ash get pushed up really fast. As the particles hit each other, they share electrons and create a buildup of charge. That buildup can create lightning. Okay, that makes sense. So I keep forgetting it is the electrons, folks. It's not just a heat, it's the electrons. And when those electrons build up, they make a charge. So thank you, Grace. I still think we need to use lightning more. If we can harness lightning better, and power the world, that could solve the energy crisis. We need to do it. We need to figure that out too. Because on X-Men, Storm, she had the power to control lightning and where it went. So maybe one day we'll be that as well. But again, the spider thing I'm not sure about. I'm still questioning that one. Let's see here. That one's pretty easy. Yeah, I know about the crickets and the temperature. I've always heard about that one. That makes sense. The Blood Red Rain was kind of cool. So I think I saw that before, but I did read it in July 2001. The rainfall in Kerala, India, was blood red. Now I guess again that again would probably be the particles in the sky, and like what's in the atmosphere. So that one again makes sense. I think it'd be freaky to have. Let's see, one lightning bolt actually only has the power to light 5 light bulbs a day. But how? See, that's the question I have again. So if lightning is if it's hotter, if it creates that, but it creates more heat than the sun. So that's my question. So one lightning bolt creates more heat than the sun, but it can only power 5 light bulbs a day. See, I don't know. That's where I get a little bit. Again, I've never spent a lot of time studying light. Well, I know heat does not equal power. I'm aware of that. But I mean, we could use the heating. I mean, if lightning is that much heat, I don't know. I just feel like that's a weird thing that it can create that much heat, but not enough power. I don't know. I guess I kind of put power and heat together because you got to create heat with power. That's how I see it, folks. But again, I'm no weather person. My study was more in biology and more in genetics and cells, and I was also going to study the brain. So that really had nothing to do with lightning. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I know heat does not equal power. But again, I don't know. I just think it's a weird thing. Like, I'm more powerful than the sun, but I can only heat the light bulb. But at the same time, though, I mean, I guess I don't know because I guess it makes sense because if I have a little solar charger. How much power can that really do in a day? I mean, I have a charger in my backpack that collects sunlight, but I don't know if it can even charge my phone. So, and 5 light bulbs is better than nothing. So, I mean, technically, if each house had a little thing that caught enough lightning, you caught more than one lightning bulb a day, you could charge more. Well, yeah, I know a laser can. Yeah, that's true. But I guess, but that's actually, I'm assuming, based on the size of the lasers over a small area. The sun heats up the whole world, so the sun definitely has more power and more. But I guess in a concentrated method, yes, a laser would have more power and intensity than the sun. I'm thinking of a grand perspective. I mean, the sun's heating the whole solar system. That's why I think the sun's more powerful because it's heating the whole solar system. But yes, I do. I guess that on a concentrated matter. That would make sense. It does make sense, folks. I'm just questioning it because I like to question things. I also don't believe George Washington actually existed. But that's a story for another day. I'm not going to get in that argument today because I had somebody's mind blown the other day about George Washington. And, folks, I do believe he actually existed. I was just using it as an example. So don't get at me that George Washington existed. I'm just saying I was using it for an example regarding dinosaurs and other things. It's 3:14. Let's do another song before we move on from our weather friends. But again, let's say thank you, folks, to Grace. Again, she's taking the time from the University of Alabama, Huntsville, to answer questions today. And so, again, folks, hey, you can hit her up. Just call the University of Alabama, Huntsville and say, hey, this Grace person, she was on the No Bones About It show, and we want to get her out chasing storms. There you go. So that's how you get in contact with her. So just call Alabama, Huntsville. And say, give Grace. I'm not giving Grace's full name because that's up to Grace to share. So... But let's do a song, folks, and let's do a little bit of, we're speaking of weather, let's do a little bit of Mushroom Head. Yes, Mushroom Head, because of mushroom clouds. Hey, mushroom cloud, that's a thing. So, this is actually probably one of my favorite Mushroom Head songs, and I never really heard of this song until about a few years ago. So, this is Mushroom Head, Simple Survival, here on the No Bones Battle Show, folks. Keep on listening, keep on supporting WIX. Don't forget that Q, 917 FM, Radical 49 and Real College Radio. Woo! had enough. Woo, folks, who do you love? Mushroom Head. Oh, folks, it's been a day. Sorry, folks, I can't have any co-hosts right now in the air. So I know there were some people saying, co-host on TikTok can't do that. I'm live in the air, folks. Well, right now I'm playing a song, I'm not live. But I am live performing. If you want to do a show or you want to do an interview, hey, let me know. We'll do something. We'll film it ahead of time. Oh, my voice is going, folks. I tell you, was that a good day? We learned a lot about weather. I learned about clouds and cumulus. Cumulus clouds. Cumulus. 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 I'm doing better. I'm saying it right. Cumulus. Here in the WIXQ studios. Like I had enough. Simple survival, folks. Cumulus. Cause my simple survival. The shadow within me. Oh, it's a good song. I do suffer, folks, from a severe lack of theater. It's true. It's true. It's darn true. Like 3 people. WIXQ, folks. Radical Renowned Real College Radio. We'll be back on the air in a few minutes. About a minute, so give me a chance, folks. We're going to talk canceled TV shows. What canceled TV show would you bring in or bring back? Woo, my voice is going. Did a lot of talking about weather. I like some weather, folks. Yes, folks, we're back here in the No Bones About It show here on WIXQ917ville.com. Radical Renowned. Radical Renowned. Yes, folks, we're back. And so, again, thank you, Grace, for being on the show with us today. Like I said, she's messaging me from the Alabama Huntsville area, but former staffer here at the Millersville. So discussion question was, if you had the chance, folks, you had your magic wand, if you could bring back one canceled TV show, what would it be? This one had me thinking a bit, and by bit, so I didn't want to spend too much time, because I'm somebody, I'll pick a question, but I don't want to think of the question ahead of time, because I want to think about it with you all live on the air, so that you're thinking about it, I'm thinking about it again. If you have a show that you'd think about, hey, put it in chat on WIXQ917ville.com, or put it in TikTok or Facebook. Let me know what one TV show you'd bring back canceled. So I guess it doesn't have to be canceled or just not renewed. When I was a kid, I probably would have said it was Alf, because as a kid I didn't realize that Alf only lasted 4 seasons. But then, I found out that honestly everybody on the show hated being on the show because they didn't like being upstaged by a puppet. But I love Alf, but even like by season 4, now that I'm watching as an adult, there are some shows that translate still well to you can watch again, that even if you're older. Alf, I don't know. There's like the first season, Alf is still pretty good. After that, even I'm struggling sometimes with like how do they make an Alf work. So not that. There's some Nickelodeon shows. I would definitely say My Brother and Me. Well, it's funny. My Brother and Me, there was only 12 episodes, and me and my brother talk about it all the time. So for me, I guess that would be one, because the fact that we still talk about it 30 years later, that means it must have been good. Salute Your Shorts only made 20 episodes. I think that show could have made another few seasons. I think Salute Your Shorts could have went. Nick Arcade game show, you could do that. To me, there's tons of possibilities of game shows you could have done. Same with Legends of Hidden Temple. You could have been doing a lot of different temple runs. I think that show, I don't think it was actually canceled again. They just stopped making new episodes. Full House, I thought went a pretty good well. Any shows that really made it to 8 seasons or I think what they say, if you make over 100 episodes, you make it into syndication. So I would agree, like that made a pretty good run. One show that I will say, and it's me and Nick always talk about it, is the great show Kyle XY. Most of you don't even know what Kyle XY is. I still don't know how we started watching it. It started in around 2000, in the summer of 2006. Literally, it started then because we were playing in a basketball league. My brother, AJ, Donald, Ian, all that. We were playing in a league together, and it was on ABC Family. And I don't know why we started watching it one day. And then I had to keep watching it, and it was 3 seasons. And the worst part is it ended, the last episode ended on a cliffhanger that we were waiting for to find out more about who was Kyle, what he was all about, and it literally just ended, and they never returned it. Like, that was terrible. Like, they ended on such a good moment, and it just never came back. So, when I say Kyle XY, yes, because, again, I still talk about Kyle XY to this day. So, to me, yeah, I think that's got to be one. So, I may have to play the Kyle XY intro for you folks. It's only like 10 seconds. Let me see. Kyle XY intro. I mean, yeah, I love Kyle XY. I don't know. It was such a good... Yeah, it's only 10 seconds long, folks. Here, let me play you the 10-second clip of Kyle XY. Basically, though, he was basically created in a lab. He didn't have a belly button, had some magic powers, but he went through high school stuff. There was a basketball episode that's still hilarious to watch to this day. And when his first day of school, he loved himself some Skittles, and they basically promoted the heck out of Skittles. Like, every corner is Skittles. Hey, you want some Skittles? Yeah, you're not feeling well? Here's some Skittles. So, Skittles was definitely paying to be on that show. But Kyle XY was definitely one of them for me. Yellowstone, I feel like could have kept going. I know that there were some problems. It wasn't canceled, but Kevin Costner, and there were some problems. But I liked Yellowstone. Sopranos is probably one of my top 5 best shows of all time. I still feel like they could have kept going to Sopranos. I know that people were dying off and they were killing people off, but could they have done another two seasons or more of Sopranos? I say yes. That's how much I actually like the Sopranos. I could have watched another Sopranos. The Office is always weird to me because a lot of people quit the show after Steve Carell left, and I will say it was never the same. I still watch seasons 8 and 9. If Steve wouldn't have left, I would have loved to see more seasons of The Office. Let's see, what else, folks? There's so many shows, like, you think in your head, like, so many TV shows. I'm trying to think of, like, watching a show, and I'm like, I can't believe they canceled that show. It's so weird. Again, when I was young, I figured I was watching live shows all the time, and you find out, like, again, I thought I was watching Full House live, and Full House ended in 95, and I was 9. So most of the time I was watching Full House, it was already over. So just thinking in my head, what else? What other shows, if I could bring back, I would. What's another good show? It sucks when you start like it, you just forget for a second. Let me think about it, folks. Let me play a song while we think about it, because let me think about this a little bit. So, let's do a little bit of music here, folks. A little bit of Trapped. Yes, a nice little new metal band from the early 2000s. This is Trapped Still Frame here on the No Bones Battle Show, folks. Keep on listening. Keep on supporting WIXQ. Don't forget that Q. Trapped still frame. Believe me, folks. Breaking down. This picture's frozen and I can't get it out. It's a good song, folks. And I can't get out of here. I'm just as lost as you, folks. Cause I'm breaking down. This picture's frozen and I can't get out. Trapped still frame, folks. Good song. I'm just as lost as you, folks. Good song. It's a good message, too. I'm trying to think whatever shows. Canceled shows. I watch so much TV. You'd think you'd struggle. But I'm blanking. Me, cause I'm breaking down. Pictures frozen and I can't get out. Believe me, folks. I am just as lost as you. Believe me. We got a Bigfoot report coming up. Yes, folks, still frame here on No Bones Battle Show, folks. But it's time to take a pause for the Bigfoot cause. Ooh, yes, folks, time for the Bigfoot show. Ooh, no, folks, it's time for the Bigfoot check-in. One more time here on the No Bones Battle Show, folks, as we always pause at 3:30 for the Bigfoot cause. So, we do have a Bigfoot report for today. This was reported on January 14th, 2026, so not that old, but the sighting was over 20 years ago. And as I said, folks, a big thing with Bigfoot reports is people don't want to get made fun of. So they'll keep these stories for years and years and years until one day it's like, you know what? I got to tell my story about the Bigfoot. And that's what happened in this case. So, this is in July of 2005 in the state of Virginia in Stafford County. It seems to be, nearest town was Quantico. And it was actually, it seems to be some Marines. So we got our own military, so we do want to salute our Marines who saw the Bigfoot, folks. So I'm going to believe a Marine. So here you go, folks. I'll read it to you as it is written and submitted. In the summer of 2005, I was stationed at Marine Corps Base Quantico, Virginia, working as part of the opposing force for the Basic School Infantry Officers Course. During one of the multi-week field training exercises in the Mount Town training area, myself and two other Marines were instructed to leave the town at night and move on foot through the woods to link up with a vehicle at a designated pickup point approximately 500 to 700 meters away. The area was considered an active training area, with students operating and using blank ammunition. Because of this, we were moving quietly with flashlights off. There was little to no moonlight, and none of us had any night vision devices. All three of us were non-commissioned officers with several years of training and experience, and we had operated in these woods many times before. We cut out azimuth on our compass and began moving in what should have been a nearly straight line toward the pickup point. After walking for what felt like an unusually long time, we reached a clearing and found ourselves at the road. To our surprise, we realized we were back near the same area we'd originally departed from. All three compasses had indicated we were moving correctly, yet we had somehow looped back to our starting point. This was disorienting and unsettling. We decided to cut a new azimuth to a different reference point and then adjust course toward a different pickup spot further down the road. Approximately 15 to 20 minutes into the second movement, we heard a loud sound to our left, like tree crackling or falling. Concerned about the possibility of a falling tree, we turned on our flashlights and looked in that direction. We observed two trees next to each other bending toward one another. When we looked up, approximately 20 to 30 feet above the ground, we saw a large, hairy creature with its back facing us. The creature appeared to be pulling the two trees together. The hair was a brown or reddish-brown color. I could not determine whether it had climbed a tree or was already in it, but it was clearly manipulating both trees with great strength. These are not small trees. The creature was large, approximately 8+ feet in height, with a large body, far larger than a person, and its proportions and movement did not resemble a human. At the moment, I froze. I was the third person in our file. The Marine in front of me immediately started running. The second Marine shouted something and also started running. I turned my flashlight off because we were still in the training area and began running after them. As we ran, we heard a very large, heavy thud, and then fast-moving pursuit behind us. There were loud crashing and breaking sounds like something large moving rapidly through a dense bush. This continued for approximately 20 to 30 seconds. At that point, I yelled for the Marine in front to turn on his lights so we could move as fast as possible without falling. We turned our lights on and ran at full speed in the general direction of where we believed the road and pickup point were, no longer using our compasses. After approximately 5 minutes of running, we reached the vehicle. We jumped in and urgently told the driver to leave immediately. What we saw was not a black bear or any animal known in the area. Black bears in Quantico are relatively small. That would not explain the size and the way the creature was holding onto the trees with long arms, and the strength required to bend those trees together, and the speed and power and the movement we heard pushing through the dense forest. This figure did not resemble a person in any way. I do not believe a human could have been in that position or moved that way. The distance from us to this creature we observed was approximately 20 yards. This event has stayed with me for 20 years. I have never encountered anything before or since that explains what we saw that night. Oh my gosh, folks, that is a very descriptive, very well written Bigfoot report. So thank you for submitting it. And again, this is a Marine, folks. Marines are trained to take on and fight things. The fact that they were running from a creature of the unknown, that says a lot. And that creeps me out. It gets me thinking, what is out there, folks? What is it? What is it? What is this? As Faith No More would say. Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit, but thank you for that. So let's, do a quick song, and we'll do a 3:40 break. I'll do some wrap-up stuff, and that'll be it for today, folks. So let's do a little bit of Blue Oyster Cult. Then came the last days of May here on the No Bones About It show. Okay, folks, I'm going to end the TikTok and the Facebook as my show's coming soon to an end. But thank you all for listening, supporting me, and WIXQ, our #1 radio station. Hey, I'll see you all next week. Stay up.